What's up, guys? So here's the LTD with the empty engine bay, or mostly empty. I still got to get that header out I got to disconnect the rack and pull that out, and then those headers are going to go away. I'm going to sell them. I have a set of BBKs on order. I'd actually planned to get RCI headers or AccuFab, but unfortunately the guy who was making those got sick in December, January, and passed. So it doesn't look like anybody is taking up or going to be filling those. I'd looked into getting Doug Thorley headers, which is what I had on my first car, a 73 Maverick, and they were supposed to be made pretty good. Everybody talks about how good they fit, but I didn't like those because they're kind of like the driver's side was in three pieces, and I didn't like the tubes going into the the way they fit in there. I just seemed like it would be right for leaks. D&D is another company I was referred to. They closed up their header shop. Basically what's going on is they just couldn't get supplies. They couldn't get the materials they needed to make the headers. They had trouble keeping people employed in the shop, so they just closed it up. And so it kind of led me to where I just went ahead and bought the BBKs, even though the price had gone up considerably from where they were a year ago. Let's go, Brandon! But so here, so I got the BBKs. They're coming. Those will be going away. That is the 4R70W fresh transmission. Got an ultimate converter on it. I'm selling the whole works: the transmission, the converter, the drive shaft yoke, because the 4R70 takes a bigger yoke than a T5 and AOD. The insulator plate, the transmission temperature gauge, the whole controller setup, all the wiring, and even the floor jack. I got a roll around floor jack, transmission jack. Whole works is going to go away. Rod's got the T5 for this. He's doing his thing with it. I've already got a bell. I've got a bell housing. I got the insulator plate. I did order a flywheel. I have a steel flywheel, the big Ford Motorsport steel. I think they call it billet steel. But anyway, I was a little reluctant to use it because it's 24 pounds. But I didn't want to put an aluminum one in here that's 12 pounds because I thought it'd be a little light with a heavy car. So what I dug around on eBay and I found this outfit. I'll put the link up because I can't remember their name, but they sell a steel flywheel. It's rated to like 800 some horsepower or something like that, but it's been lightened. It's got all these the neat holes around it, and it weighs 17 pounds, excuse me. So it's right in the middle between the steel and the aluminum. I thought that'd be perfect, so got one of those on the way. And everything else is kind of, like I said, I already have the parts. I got a shifter, all that stuff. So what I'm doing with the wiring is the starter solenoid on these mounted over here. And I never really did like it because you had all this wiring going all over the place. So what I'm doing is I'm making this kind of like the way on the Trooper car, the 86, where there's not much wiring over here. All that it's over here is for like the AC relay, the mass air sensor, and the O2 harness. And then this stuff is going to get pushed back into the passenger compartment, run over here, and run out to the front, and it'll go to where I have the starter solenoid mounted there. And this is it's just a little like a terminal. What I do is run this wire from the starter solenoid down to here, and then I can run some of the other wires to it instead of having like umpteen different wires on one stud of the starter solenoid. And all these wires here, because I got them all separated, these ran over to where the starter solenoid was. So what I'm going to do is shorten those up, then solder, I'll cut a length out so that they'll go up here neatly, and kind of try to make it as neat as I can. What we do where I work when we're dealing with aircraft wiring is we got this stuff called lacing tape or wax string. You can kind of tie up your harness, make sure you got it the way you want it, where it's kind of neat, and you can tuck it away real good, and then we put the tape on after. instead of just, you know, trying to hold it tight and get tape on it. You never really get it tight, so this way works a lot better. And then I'll redo all that stuff up there too. Try to make it as neat as possible, because I kind of a little bit OCD about that stuff. And the tab and the tad solenoids over there, I'll get those completely out of the way too. I'll get rid of them, cut the wires off, put caps on the end of the wire, and this whole headlight harness here is going to get taped and made a whole lot neater. And so that's that with the wiring. I might paint the engine bay yet. I'm not sure, haven't decided for sure, but I like to try to make it look a little nicer. As far as the engine, this is the engine came out of it, and as I think I showed you in the other video, that little chunk of piston missing up there, and this one was starting to fail. That's the only two I noticed on here so far. But you can see where the dual valve reliefs, how it's so thin on that spot, so you got anything goes awry, you know, that little spot right there is prone to fail. So what's going to happen, this is the 331 of Vincent's. I'm going to go through that, make sure it's all good, and then it'll put it in here. This 331, I'm going to go through it, get some new pistons, just a single valve relief, not the double, and that'll go into the Capri sometime. We'll see what we can do with that 302 that's going in at first, and then we'll put the 331 in. So that's the update. More to come on this. I don't should be able to get some good work in it this week. You can hear the dogs chasing each other out there. And maybe on the weekend, my darling bride hasn't given me any chores to do, so probably Sunday night will be the next update on this. I'll let you know what's going on with it, and show you what's happening. All right, appreciate y'all fellas. Later.